Well, that was that was my first take, so hopefully this is gonna be a one take type video. I'm just having too much fun with this. Don't mind my jorts. Okay, I'm this tall now. Don't mind my jorts. I'm using my streaming setup. By the way, if you haven't watched my other channel, official Tony, it's official Tony, right? __ official Tony. I've been trying to get better at streaming, and you can't even see this thing. It's ridiculous, right? Pit Viper, right? We need to take this made in China. It's really killing my vibe. Terran Tactical will be ashamed to see that, but I mean, hey, it's Airsoft, so that's what you get. All right, so we need to talk about this, right? So holsters, real quick. Yes, I am dual wielding. I'm dual wielding on purpose. The main reason is because this is something I wanted to do for a very long time. Don't mind my shirt, it's inside out, it's one of my PT shirts. But, so, don't mind the dual wield. Today it's about the Pit Viper, right? So, I got into high kappa gaming about 2 years ago with the SSP-1. I've never looked back. I've had zero complaints. I got this when I was on sale. Let's fix this camera real quick. Just a little bit. There we go. Okay. So yeah, I've had zero complaints as far as this goes. I'm very sorry. Let me put a different shirt on, that way you can see everything. All right. So you couldn't really see it, so I wanted to, put something that would be a little bit better. Still want you to see my holster, so I'll just have to back up farther. Don't have the best setup right now, but we'll live with it. We'll roll with the punches. So Pit Viper, it's one of the more premium high kappas out there now, thanks to the John Wick movie. Okay, listen, if you're like me and you're just like, man, I wish I would have been, into John Wick when John Wick 1 came out. I got into John Wick when John Wick 3 was coming out. I feel like a lot of people were that way. I'm a diehard Keanu Reeves fan, just didn't watch the John Wick movies because I was doing something else at the time. Got the Smith & Wesson salient arms on the other side. So we are being safe. There's no BBs in there. There is gas in this because this just came to me. I got sent this to do a review. So I'm going to try my best not to bash. This is an out-of-box review. I haven't shot it much. I'm going to do field testing. We're going to do more thematic type reviews and videos on this, and we're going to really dive into some John Wick guns as well as some requests that y'all had. So I just want to say this video is coming. We had a request to know how to take the King Arms PDW and go ahead and be able to pretty much know how to change the tracer unit on there, so you can have one of these really cool tracer units like on the SSP-1 that I have over here, which is the Brighter C Ace Tech, which is about the smallest tracer unit you can get for pistols. Probably for this though, I use the 6mm X Core Tech with the inner barrel, and I took out the inner barrel extension because this is a tracer unit with a power up barrel, which means it'll increase your FPS. So I took that barrel out since this has such a long barrel anyway for a CQB 9mm style PDW, and I moved that barrel out and I put that in. Pretty much the issue with this King Arms PDW we're going to be going over in the next video coming up here soon, which is you just have to struggle. There's no perfect way to take the barrel off. Unfortunately, the way they made the suppressor extension that goes on the stock barrel, I had to remove the whole barrel, and I had to do that in a very janky way, and that's unfortunate because, King Arms was really just, they made a mistake on just how they designed it, like most manufacturers. It just seems to be that in the airsoft world, we have a hard time with quality control, and it's understandable at times. So let's put up the SSP-1, but this one thing I want to show you is I'm using these BLACKHAWK, I think the Orpheus, it's the pretty much multi-purpose holster that you put these little extensions on right here. And this extension is like a universal holster, and it allows me, I wouldn't use this for real steel, but for airsoft it's phenomenal. But yeah, Omnivore, that's what it is. BLACKHAWK Omnivore. But one thing before I switch, I wanted to show you this because I'm going to be doing videos on this. This is the Airsoft Brighter C. So you want to have a holster that fits a tracer unit with a little bit of adjusting, with a little bit of heat, and then molding change for the holster. You now have a holster that fits a 28mm tracer unit. By the way, that's the Airsoft dimensions. That Airsoft dimension, along with, I don't know if you noticed, there's now a tracer unit out there, but these are things that look like suppressors, but they make your BBs glow when you're firing. And pretty much you could go and get the Matrix, make sure I'm still recording, the Matrix, what is it called? Striker Fire. It's the ones that goes pretty much, it's this, they have like all different colors, blue. It goes on the WeTech Galaxy style gas blowbacks, and you can actually get those suppressors that have 14mm threads on them, and it'll fit the same size. I talked to Evike the other day, and it's 28mm dimensions as well. So if you want another version, I'll put that on the screen right here, so you have like a variation. But yeah, pretty much you're stuck with either the Airsoft Brighter C or the Matrix tracer unit for pistols compatibility Omnivore setup. So this Omnivore setup, if you want to do it, you have two tracers to pretty much choose from that are easily accessible, and that'll take care of that. But yeah, so we're being safe, no BBs across the board. One more thing to banter about before we go into the thinking Pit Viper, which y'all are here for. If you're a John Wick fanboy and you wanted to go ahead and get a HK P30, and the only options, if you know, in the market is polymer-based EBB, which is electric blowback, and it's about as disappointing as you think it could be. Plus, it doesn't have the cool suppressor. This is what was in John Wick 1, and frankly, it's $40. I'm gonna be doing a review on it, overlook. I would definitely get the Springer over it. It has more realistic features, and it's always good to have a Springer with you, just in case you run out of gas. It's super cold, and a Springer pistol it's just kind of fun to have. That's where we all started, I feel, is with a Springer pistol. But unfortunately, if you want John Wick 1 movie, the HK P30 or P30L or I can't remember which one it is. Just it has a dash. It looks like a L. But HK P30 with you can get a 3D mold compensator, but I would get the rail ones and not the one that glues onto the front. It's kind of tacky. It'll break over time. But yeah, I'm gonna probably return this because it's great. It meets expectations, but in my review, I'll explain why I'm returning this one and gonna just keep the spring one. So, but yeah, so if you want to know, don't get it. It's not worth the fandom. I mean, it has some functions that you probably can make work. Just the issue is the FPS to capacity and these janky mags that you have right here. So yeah, today's all about some John Wick fanboyness. So, Pit Viper time. Why do I have this tracer attachment option right here? Well, not only because I want to put a tracer on here, because running a tracer is it's just a game changer in indoors. Why not run a tracer? If you don't like a tracer, that's fine. It definitely ruins the general aesthetic, but it is there not for aesthetic. It's there rather for functionality, and I will explain why. So as you notice, oh man, it's just so light. I'm gonna just say that right away. In comparison to my Novrich SSP1, which is one of the heaviest, I honestly never do this type. racking of the slide. I always go here in real life. It's only with airsoft that I do that. I don't like being near the business end of a firearm. So being back here is more safe, in my opinion. You should do it too. But let's go ahead and put the tracer on there. But the main reason I put that tracer adapter, and I'll tell you which tracer adapter this is in a second. That way you know which one to get, and it's actually going to surprise you which one it is, because I was extremely surprised. Where's my... Yeah, so if you get this Brighter C, which is the Brighter C by Ace Tech, it's a great tracer. I'm going to be very careful not to ruin these threads. Let's see, so if it's counterclockwise threads, it should be righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Nope, I'm wrong. Righty-loosey. All right. So now that we took that adapter, so sorry, got a little allergy sniffle going on. And we'll put this back on here. I need to Loctite this on here. And when you're putting adapters on pistols, make sure it has the safety on, and make sure the magazine's out. It'll keep you from shooting yourself in the hand like a ding-dong. Magazine's out, rack back, and this should go right on here, no problem. Make sure we're not cross-threading. There we go. So, Tony, you may be asking, ooh, I don't like the way that's designed. Unfortunately, the way this is designed is like typical high capos, which is it's going to be not like Novrich's setup. Novrich's setup is pretty much when you tighten a tracer on, you go lefty-tighty, counterclockwise, and he does it also on his gun side. So as you tighten the tracer, you also tighten the adapter to the gun, versus this, as I tighten more, I'm now taking it off the gun from the gun side. So I don't know if you just saw that, but that's my only complaint so far out of the box, which is this beautiful, beautiful compensator here on the end. It moves! Surprise, surprise. It's not attached to the slide. I'll actually show you. But this is the reason I put the adapter on there, is to keep, to pretty much keep the issue of having that compensator come loose. And it doesn't come off. It just gets canted. And I'll show you what I mean by that. If I could disassemble a 2011 successfully. I'm still getting used to this one. Alright. So right here, as I pull this forward, so this is the slide for the Pit Viper. I'll pull this forward, we'll get this out. And the only way to really do this is to push this forward. And you see right there, you see how it's disconnected, that outer barrel is disconnected from the slide. It's not connected, which is the way it's supposed to be, but it's not the way I thought it was gonna be, I will say. But I'm gonna show you this real quick, which is, if I could get it to function for me. You see all that movement? Watch it from this point of view. You see all that movement? And it does not loosen all the way off. For now, it's held on there by some stopping pin, but it's not a screw-on or anything. But look at all that play. So it's not going to cause that much of an issue as far as I can tell, because as you're racking the slide, it's not going to rack that way. But that was my pretty much my only complaint. Does the orange tint come off easily? You shouldn't take it off, but as far as it goes, does it come off easy for tracer adapters? Yes, it does. It's pretty soft plastic. Just be careful not to scratch up your muzzle. Let's put this back on there. So yeah, that was the only complaint out of the box that I could find. And I'm happy to say that's awesome. One complaint out of a just out of box initial testing. It's super light. The cut slide ports is, and let me say, like these cutouts are extremely aggressive, and I absolutely love that, because if you're wearing gloves for indoor, which I usually do, I could feel all this. And the stippling, my wife held it. She's like, ow. The stippling is the most aggressive stippling I've ever seen in an airsoft gun. You could even see just the general grain. I'm so pleased with that. In comparison to a general high kappa such as the SSP1, the paddle is my least favorite thing on a high kappa. Sometimes I even tape them when they're ridiculously, aggressive, to where when I grab it, I feel like I almost have to, think about pushing into it to engage that paddle safety. Well, I could gladly say on the Pit Viper, it's like it's not even there. It's almost flush. You could even see how flush it is, but it doesn't take any pressure to go ahead and engage that trigger. It's absolutely beautiful. These sights, we're not cocked back, but these sights are about as beautiful as it gets. I thought it was just a gimmick, but I could once again say that, in a dark bathroom, when I go around the corner, and I go right here, and I'm looking, I can still see my sight. I don't look through my sight, that's why I have tracer, BBs, typically when I'm doing indoor, and there's no slide wobble. So there's a lot of beautiful things and a lot of things I absolutely like, especially with this Omnivore setup that I have going on. It works really well. Really tight, high speed, low drag type of thing going on here. There is some basic complaints, but I can't really complain the Pit Viper because it's really a high kappa issue in Airsoft and just the way of design, which is you have to go ahead and cant for a mag drop. Now I'm going to show you. This is why we have our... Okay, so I'm going to do this. I have my drop leg mag holsters, so I'm pretty happy with these high kappa BLACKHAWK mag holsters. They do work. We got some logoing on the bottom of the magazine, which is awesome to see. So as I go ahead and do a mag change, let's say amount, ready? So 3, 2, 1. There you have got to turn. It's hard to do it when you're not firing, but you have got to turn it like a true, pretty much 2011. If you're gonna change, by the way, don't ever drop your mags all tactical like, unless you have a drop mag, and then even then, if you're gonna miss that hole, which I've done many a times, it's just not worth it. These are expensive mags, like $50 a pop. Don't drop them on the floor, okay? Japanese airsoft speed softers will tell you every time. They will find a way to hold it in your hand, do a mag change, and then move on. Honestly, I just don't think about it that much. I just, push and go, put it in my my drop bag, right? And just move about my day. But yeah, so you're gonna have to get used to that turn again. That was the one thing I loved about the SSP1, and I still love. It's just that when I run out and I have to hit that mag release, I don't even have to think about turning it. It's just right there. It's just easy peasy. Now, in a way, for tactical purposes, that sometimes could be an issue, but I've never had an issue. I've never accidentally pressed that. I just know to keep my thumb down, and when I'm ready, it's just a flick of the thumb. I don't have to turn, and I don't have to reorient the pistol. But this gives you that John Wick feel. I really wish the suppressor was a little bit stronger. I wish it didn't have all that play. I don't think it's going to become an issue. I hope not. If it falls off, I will be extremely mad because if that falls off, you're going to be out of a front sight. Because on that compensator, I meant to say compensator, is your sight. So you lose that compensator, you lose your sight, and you lose some stability of the barrel. I wouldn't say it's a plus by any means. I don't think that compensator is going to do you any like true good. I can't really tell until I start shooting this, full speed. I can't really tell, but that's my general overlook of it. I think I covered pretty much everything I could possibly cover. The safety, something I don't usually cover, but it's phenomenal. I'll be honest, when I'm airsofting, my true firearms in real life don't have safeties. My service weapons don't have safeties. I keep the safety off. I take that magazine out, and I know it's about as safe as it can get as far as airsoft goes. Don't point at something you don't want to shoot, that's your main safety. But field requires a safety, abide by the field's rules. I think I covered everything. I know we kind of meandered around, and I got you, looking forward to some other things, but Pit Viper, I think it looks beautiful. I love it. Oh, how could I almost forget? What is the adapter for the tracer unit? Yes. Well, guess what? If you get the brighter C, you get the adapter. Easy peasy. Yes, finally, we get some, congealed motion there, and that's if you get the brighter C, it comes with an adapter, and the adapter that it comes with, does it say on the back here? I know it says on here. You could look it up though, that way, you just know that, hey, okay, if I get a brighter C, it's whatever comes with this adapter. Forgive me. Because the one on my SSP1 is going to be a different adapter. It's going to be the 12mm, and I believe that this adapter, let me look, that's in Japanese. No, that's in Japanese. That was Chinese. Oh, there we go. All right, in Japanese, right here. Forgive me, no, it's Chinese. It's Mandarin. M14 and M11 Plus. So this is what comes with it, and so that adapter right there, that Ace Tech adapter that comes with this, is the one that fits. I could tell because it looks completely different than my SSP1 adapter. So SSP1 adapter doesn't work, but I mean, most of us know that. It's just for some of you that don't, the Ace Tech Tracer unit adapter works perfectly, and it also looks good on the gun. I actually think it looks quite well. So, weight-wise, feels good in the holster. I know it's there. I'm able to move just fine around with it. No movement. So, I hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe, leave a like. Thank you so much for your support. See you next time.